Good morning, traders. This is your daily market breakdown on the GBP USD on the 4-hour time frame. We could quite clearly see that the price pushed up, it came down, it pushed up again to grab the resting liquidity that was likely resting above these levels, and now is beginning to push down. And so if we zoom out to the daily frame, what we begin to see is that, yes, we're now trending down. We are producing lower highs. We have now just seen that initial pullback into the upside, failing to break or produce a new higher high. And we are likely now going to see a continuation into the downside. And so I am generally looking for shorting opportunities throughout today into tomorrow, but probably exiting on the Friday evening before the New York session, and then re-evaluating on Monday. But I am generally looking for those shorting opportunities. I do think the GBP is going to continue dropping down and is likely going to reapproach these previous lower lows that are resting around this verified demand zone region. Heading over to Euro USD, a very similar setup. We're looking for shorting opportunities. As we can see on the daily time frame, we are producing lower highs, so we are now trending down. We are now trading below the 200 EMA. We can quite clearly see that yesterday produced this pullback. If I brought out the fib, that should be a 0.5 fib pullback, as we can see there. And what we're likely now going to see is a continuation into the downside. The next reaction we'll probably have in the market is around this region here. We may come back up slightly before continuing into the downside. So I am generally looking for those shorting opportunities on the euro dollar. Heading over to JU, USD to Japanese yen. Yes, we are beginning to see the initial fringes of that shorting opportunity beginning to play out. So as I've mentioned numerous times on daily market videos and on the live streaming, I don't want to be trading the JU. We're seeing just too much manipulation. However, we have now seen that the price has retraced back to the point just before that manipulation, creating this incredibly strong area of support. And so I wouldn't be upset if I entered this position and got stopped out, because I think it's a relatively good location to enter into a shorting opportunity to try and take out the previous low liquidities on the lower time frames before then pushing up again into the upside. So my general overview for the JU is to look for shorting opportunities only because of the strong area of supply, and I'm relatively more edging toward the Bank of Japan repurchasing back the Japanese yen, and so that might push the US dollar down or against the Japanese yen. So I'm generally looking for those shorting opportunities. And like I said, I wouldn't be upset if I got stopped out. I think it's a relatively nice setup, that is. Heading over to the DXY. Yes, so as we can expect, the DXY is pushing up very aggressively. And I've said this on the live stream that previous macroeconomic data came out, I think it was last week, for the non-farm payrolls. And it just shows that the US economy is looking stronger than expected. And this is likely going to prompt the Fed to raise interest rates. So it is just pushing the DXY into the upside. So what we're likely going to see is something very similar to this. So still on the daily time frame, we're likely going to see something similar to this, a continuation into the upside. We're likely going to see a pullback. So the DXY might pull back just a little bit more today, going into tomorrow, before then pushing up, breaking market structure. And so the next reaction we're likely going to see. So we're likely going to see something like this: pull back slightly, come up. Next reaction is likely going to be around this area where we'll see a more shallow pullback, and then push up again to this level over here. And if that plays out, then everything that we've just discussed on the major currency pairs will likely also play out. So that is my general direction on my analysis for the DXY. Heading over to XAU USD, this was highly expected that we were going to continue into the downside, and we were likely going to re-enter into this weekly demand zone. And yes, now we're seeing a reaction to that demand zone. If you were on the live stream yesterday, I put down this TP, this stop loss, this TP graphic, just to show where the price is likely going to react to, and we can quite clearly see that we are now reacting to that initial price point from here. So what we could end up seeing today is that the price retraces back to the 0.5 fib before then continuing down. Like what I said, we're in a downtrend with gold at the moment. We will likely see a potential a strong pullback that could signal a change of character back into the upside, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. And what I do see is that this pullback is likely to come up here. I think if we scroll down to the 4-hour frames, we can get a generally better understanding of where the price might land. So it could re-enter back into this this zone here, or we could see the price retracing quite a lot higher up to this weekly and yearly open before continuing into the downside. So those are going to be the key levels that I'm looking for to re-enter into shorting positions on XAU. Okay, so that's what I'm going to be looking for throughout today, into Friday, into next week for XAU, that potential pullback, and then entering into that shorting opportunity. Heading over to BTC USDT, it has fallen off a cliff, and quite rightly so. It is a very risk-on financial asset, and usually one of the first financial instruments to be sold off during times of uncertainty or times of opportunity. And now we're getting a lot of speculation over the SpaceX IPO, pushing up all of the indices, the NASDAQ 100, the S&P 500. And so we're beginning to see quite a lot of money moving out of crypto into those more higher returning financial stable assets. What we are, however, what we are seeing is we are looking for that pivotal point of reversal, and this could be a potential contender. Although we have pushed aggressively into the downside, we are trending down. So in essence, you should really be looking for these shorting opportunities. But what we have seen is that the price has now re-entered into this potential weekly demand zone, and we are seeing an initial reaction. Now, what could potentially happen is that the price will come down to this hard support level, which is $55,000. If it does enter into the, if it does reach that hard support level, we may then begin seeing that change of character and push back into the upside. I would not be surprised to see a trend reversal on BTC and it re-enter the $80,000 to $90,000 mark by the end, sometime by the end of this year. Anyway, traders, there it is. Thank you for watching, and that is your daily market breakdown.